What's up, guys? Um, 5x5. I've made a similar video to this. I figured I'd make an updated one, um, where I have slightly more clothes on, and while the message was still there in the last one, this one I'll be a little bit more serious. Old Rip's making waves again, talking about things that he probably shouldn't be talking about. Um, I figured it brought up the old 5x5 feels again, and y'all know I'm a fan of 5x5. I think a lot of people get it wrong, and is why it's frowned upon. Not only because RIP by association kind of makes things get frowned upon these days, but people do it wrong. They think, oh, you can only do it for a limited time, and then once your linear progress stops, it's over, and that's it. There's no more use for 5x5, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. Uh, so like it's honestly fucking simple too. All right, take a lift, be it squat, bench press, whatever, deadlift, front squat, overhead press, etc. I'm gonna break this down to a couple different ways. But we'll start with just true 5x5, without my personal spin on it. Start 5x5. Start at 60%. Start at something fucking easy. That is going to be exceedingly easy to do. You're gonna feel like, oh, I didn't even get much accomplished doing this one. And that's fine. This is to build strength. This is not hypertrophy or nothing. This is 5x5 to build strength. So yeah, you're gonna feel rather underaccomplished. Hopefully, you're doing some accessory work to help with weaknesses and whatnot, build muscle elsewhere. But yeah, start at like 60%. Just do it traditional, 5 pounds a week. All right. When you get to a point where the fifth set or the fifth rep of the fifth set is absolutely fucking everything you have, all right, and it's going to take a while to get there if you're only jumping 5 pounds a week, on something like squats or deadlifts or even bench press. On OHP, you'll get there a little sooner, jumping 5 pounds a week, certainly. But and that's the point, is to milk it very slowly. You're going to be a lot stronger, from where you started, but you're going to hit that wall. And if you do it right and you do it slow, that wall is going to take a long time to get there. That's why I say start at 60%, so you can really milk it out. It's boring as fuck, but it is what it is. A lot of training is boring by nature. So you get to that wall. You have options here. You don't beat your head into the wall. Like, don't, oh, I'm going to try it again next week, or I'm going to deload and I'm going to try it again next week. Deload, absolutely. Take a deload. Perfectly fine. Instead of doing 5x5, do 5x3 or something like that, or 2 sets of 5. Reduce your volume. Take a deload. What you can do from here, and here's where people mess it up, because they want to keep going where they were at. And maybe you can stretch out another week to 4 weeks. But you're gonna hit that wall again really soon, and then that's where people are just like, oh fuck, this is stupid. Who the fuck runs 5x5? This is dumb. I'm moving on to conjugate. Reset. You can reset. Go back to starting point. Your 60% is going to be a new 60% now. You didn't test your 1 rep max, and that's fine. You don't know what your new 60% is, that's also fine. What weight did you start at? What weight did you end at? If there's a big gap in between there, you started here last time, you finished here, so start here this time. All right? And then when you finish this next time, your finish should be a little bit higher. It will work, I promise you. That's option one. That's the simplest option. Just, reset, start a little bit higher. Obviously, diminishing returns is still a thing. And that is going to eventually come to a head where you are going to be spending a lot of time for very, very little strength gain. With that method, with any method though, that it's when you get really fucking strong, it's hard to get stronger. So yeah, it all comes to a head eventually, everything. So that's the easiest, simplest option. Number one, just reset, same movement. Choose your accessories accordingly. You shouldn't just be doing just the main compound lift. Everybody, needs to do accessories. Work on weak points, hit muscle groups that aren't necessarily targeted as hard from that main movement. Option two, again, we're going to stick with traditional 5x5. I'm going to save my little twist for last, but you'll be able to apply either of these. So say you're doing squats. Again, start at 60%, 5x5. Milk that shit out until you hit that wall. So now, instead of resetting, you're going to pick a different squat variation. So this time you started with back squats. You're fairly new. You want to get your back squat up. Back squats, do back squats, get your back squat up. Now as you get, to intermediates, starting to, progress is slowing down. Instead of, and I would still do the reset at least once, like with the main movement, your back squat. Like you hit that wall, reset, start higher, then go again. Now, after you've done that at least once, like I said, we can start adding in a main movement variation. And maybe you don't do it for quite as long. Maybe you say, hey, I'm going to put a cap on this of 8 weeks or 12 weeks or something like that. But we'll just go from back squat to front squat. Do front squat, 5x5. Similar, start very conservative, take small jumps, milk it out. You should be knowing your body a little bit by now. So if you are putting like a cap on it, like a 8-week cap or a 12-week cap or 16-week cap, whatever, because you got to get back squatting because you got a competition or something, then certainly you can make bigger jumps accordingly. And something I like to do here is, let me save this for later. Because this is my little twist. But anyway, you can still do that with variations, and you can end up rotating your variations. You got front squats, back squats, safety squat bar squats, cambered bar squats, pin squats, pause squats. There's plenty of options. And it's something like if you're competing, I would, cap these variations at time because, you're going to have to get ready for a competition sooner or later. If you're just like general strength training, being healthy, getting stronger, and you don't have to worry about competitions, then there's no need to cap these variations. And like where you did the back squat, hit a wall, reset at a little bit higher starting point, finish at a little bit higher wall, move on to a different variation, and then do the same thing. Front squat, start at 60-ish%, hit a wall, reset, higher starting point, hit a wall, camber bar squat, camber bar pause squat, or pin squats. Same thing. Start 60%, milk those gains out, hit a wall, reset, little higher, milk, hit a wall, rinse and repeat. You can do this forever. And you can do that, apply it to bench press, apply it to deadlift, any movement you want, any compound lifts. You can 5x5 forever. You can hit a wall, reset, hit a wall, variation. Hit a wall, reset, hit a wall, switch variation. As much as you like. Like I said, if you have competitions, certainly you need to be more specific at times, and you probably need to cap, your variations there, and things like that. And we'll circle back to competitions at the end too. Now, here's my preferred method, and anybody who's ever been coached by me, we don't do strictly 5x5s. I do different variations, rep sets, depending upon the individual. But what I like to do, again, we're still going to 5x5 start around 60%. and milk it out as long as possible. However, on your last set, you're going to AMRAP, and you are going to AMRAP that to an RPE 9 at most. You could probably even stop at an RPE 8. But this breaks the monotony a little bit, and it gives you goals to shoot it for. And it's really fun when like you can move up 5 or 10 pounds, and then on a good day you end up beating your last week's rep out with more weight. It can be a confidence booster, because strength does fluctuate, and that's one of the criticisms of like a linear style periodization like I'm talking about here, because it doesn't account for your fluctuations. But like putting these AMRAPs at the end can really show you, when you were truly having a good day or not. But it's showing you in retrospect. It's not really showing you to program in real time. But again, that's, every program has its downfall, pros, cons, etc. Nothing is perfect. I'm not saying that this is like the most super optimal way ever. I'm just telling you that 5x5 doesn't have to be limited to when your initial beginner gains stop. So anyway, so you're going to do that. You're going to do the AMRAP at the end. And again, it's going to be the same. It's going to be go till you hit a wall, till again that 5th rep of that 5th set is toast, deload, reset at a higher starting point. I promise you're going to finish at a higher starting point. Add in variations, the whole 9, etc., etc. What I will tell you with the AMRAPs, now you're getting a little more advanced. You're a little smarter. You can be more aggressive with it. You can set up 8-week blocks, 6-week blocks, 12-week blocks, 18-week blocks, etc. What I like to do with that AMRAP is use it as a gauge. If you get more than 12 on your AMRAP, and this is going to be for squats, deadlifts, and bench. If you're using it for like OHP, I would still just stick to very small jumps, because the OHP walls come in a hurry. If you get more than 12 on your AMRAP, go ahead and jump 10 pounds instead of 5. Get less than 12 on your AMRAP, just stick to the script and jump to 5 pounds. Now again, this is nothing profound. 10-pound jump really isn't that much, especially if you're hitting more than 12, but we still want it to be slow. So you can be a little more aggressive with it this way. Again, this when you're setting up those like shorter blocks, that I'm going to only do this for 8 weeks or something like that. That helps if you want to be a little more aggressive and you want to come closer to that wall a little bit sooner. And then last but not least, you can certainly do this and not peak and go to a meet. And, just by proxy of this, you're going to be getting stronger. Like peaking just squeaks out that little last percentage and make sure you're absolutely ready. But I've seen CrossFitters, come from CrossFit gyms and absolutely wipe the floor clean with like those 165 through 198 weight classes without peaking or anything like that at local level meets. So you don't have to. However, if you want to peak, it's simple. As you're doing your 5x5s, take a deload before you're going into a meet prep or whatever, and then give yourself, 13 weeks. So starting the first 4 weeks of that, just stick the script, do your 5x5. You want to be aggressive, get pretty close to that wall, but not all the way there. Your second 4-week block of this 12-week peak, do 3x5. Again, get really close to that wall, but not quite there. And then your last 4 weeks, do 3x3 for 3 weeks. And then take that last week, hit like 3 sets of 1 at like 93 to 95%. Should be your opener-ish week deload, and then your meet. And then you can go right back to the 5x5 shtick, after your meet, take a deload, whatever. Maybe you want to take a couple weeks or a month to do some CrossFit or some weightlifting or some strongman stuff to break the monotony. And then you get right back into it, find that, around 60%-ish, start your 5x5s again. hit a wall, reset higher, hit a higher wall, variation, etc., etc. You can run 5x5 forever. You can throw little twists in it that make it not necessarily 5x5, but still 5x5 at heart. But 5x5 doesn't have to be temporary. It's not something that is going to significantly limit anybody, as long as they're doing it right. Like, you just put a little bit of thought into it, and don't say, "Oh, I hit a wall, it's over, it's done. Linear gains are gone. I can never run 5x5 ever again," because that's just being ignorant.